What's up, everybody? In today's video, we're going to be building a Pokemon calendar. Now, me, myself, personally, I am fresh off supporting a deployment until 4 a.m., so I am ripe and ready to get down to this code. So, we will be building this Pokemon calendar using React, and we will not be using hooks. I struggled using hooks to do this all last weekend. Because of hooks' declarative nature, it does not work that well, and there's ways to do it, but I didn't want to do that. I wanted to have an imperative nature to my code, so we're going to be using React's classes components to be able to achieve this Pokemon calendar feat. Now, oh no, get out of the way. So, as you can see here, I do have some boilerplate code predefined, and I have this here because I'm live coding, and I'm not live coding this whole thing from scratch. That would take too long, and I'm probably going to mess up. So, I have some helpers here along the way, and all the important stuff I will be live coding. So, stay tuned. All right, so let's go ahead here and let's uncomment all of this. So basically what I have here is the setup for our calendar. I have a breakpoint set up in here. Let me get rid of this break. There we go. So what we have here is the chevrons, which are going to be our previous and next month navigators. We have the month, the year, and we have the current type. So every month, we're going to have a different type associated with that month. And we're going to be having pretty much an array of a ton of Pokemon. Then we're going to filter all those Pokemon by, in this case, ground type. Then we're going to be displaying only ground type Pokemon in each square in this calendar. Now, I have a video of how to create your own calendar if you want to look at my previous video where I do a live coding approach of how to create it. But in this case, I'm just going to quickly go over it. So we have this outer class Pokemon calendar. Pokemon calendar is a width of 630, and you might think this is an arbitrary number that I picked here, but it's very purposeful. I did this purposely because of the width of each calendar is 100 pixels and the border is 2 pixels. So we have 2 pixels, 100 pixels, 4 pixels, blah, 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 728 pixels. So we're going to need a little bit more than that to have all 7 of these squares on the page using our display flex element. And this is how I like to program. Basically, this is how I like to set up my flexbox, .css, is I like to kind of display, to have all these classes already defined, and then just add these to our HTML. It's very verboten, and it's easy to understand what these are doing, and especially in my opinion. So use this. It'll definitely make life easier for you instead of having this on each individual class. Okay, so we have all this here. We're going to define it, and one last thing is the 730 is a little bit more than the 728 pixels needed because we're going to be using flex wrap to kind of wrap all of our squares more than that and pretty much have an array of days. And let's look at our state to talk about our next thing. So here's all the state that we're going to be using for this Pokemon calendar. So we're going to have a date, which is going to be using day.js. And yes, I heard you, moment.js, blah, 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 too expensive. Okay, day.js it is. Done. I'll put a link in the description about why not to use moment.js and maybe see other options. Our days array is going to be what we're going to be iterating / mapping over here. What we're going to be iterating over here and displaying all of our days. And basically what we're going to have here is we're going to have objects of each Pokemon, their name, the sprite, and the current date. Our Pokemon array is going to be all the Pokemon we're going to fetch into an array. Our type array is going to be a filtered list. A filtered array of all the Pokemon for that current type of the month, and the current type is going to be the current type that we currently on for whatever month we navigate to. Okay, so let's get down to it. Let's start off by creating our calendar. Okay, so we have our component div mount, which is calling create Pokemon calendar. It's passing in the date, which is again is just that day.js object. And let's go ahead and let's get started, shall we? Okay, so first things first here is we want to get our first day, and it'll be very apparent why we want to get the first day in just a second. That's start of month. Okay. Day.js. Okay, so we need the first day because remember all days don't start on Sunday. And they can start on any day here. So we're gonna have to add some padding to it. We're gonna do that in a second, but let's first go ahead and let's make our array. So we're gonna go days equals array.apply, and then null as the prototype or the context, and then we're going to put in an array like object, which is going to be, month dot days in month. Okay, there we go. We get all the days in the month there. And now we're going to come to the next line and we're going to map. And then we're going to do number.call. And we're going to do number. Excuse me, that's not the end of it there. And now we have pretty much an array of all the days of the month. So November, that'd be 30. So we have an array of 1 through 30. And now we want to take all those and we want to make those day.js objects for that current date. We're going to do that by mapping. Okay, and we'll just use n here. And then we're going to return n or day. We're going to return, was it day.js first day dot add n, and then day is what we're going to be adding here. So we're going to start the first day, then we're going to add in the current index of how many days to add to that. So we have all those day.js objects here. Then we're going to console.log days. But let's wait a second. Let's add our padding here. So again, I alluded to this a little bit earlier that not every day starts on the first day of the month. So we're going to be having null padding in front of it, so we could start our days array on the right array. Excuse me, under the right date. So we do that by having a for loop here, and we're going to do let n equals 0. N is, was it less than, and what is this? It's first day dot day. Okay, and then we're going to do n plus plus. Okay, and then all we're going to do here is we're going to do days dot unshift, and then we're going to add this null padding in here. Okay, now let's come here and let's refresh it. And let's pop open the inspector and see what we got here. Okay, so as you can see, we have our array of all our day objects, and they're all corresponding to the current days in November. Perfect, exactly what we need. So now let's get these on the page so we can see them. Perfect, so next thing here is we're going to call this .set states, and we're going to pass in here previous state, and then it's days array, and then it's just days. Oh, and then we have to return. There we go. Okay, and there we go, and then we return there. Perfect. So now let's go down here and let's add these in here. So let me make sure I have all these CSS classes predefined. I just got to make sure I remember the names of them. Okay, so we have a div here, and then it's going to be class name flex container, and then we need the flex wrap, and this is going to be the wrap. So once this is more than 7 blocks, it's going to then come down to the bottom. Let's add some React here. So this dot state dot days array, and this dot state dot days array dot map vi, and we're going to return a div. And what are these classes? So first we need the key here, and then we need these classes. Okay, and there, I think it's just flex container, flex center, pos rel, which is just adding position relative to it. That's for our day that we're going to be using. And then we need calendar days here. Okay, and there we go. As you can see, we have all the calendar days on the page. Perfect. Now we need to go get the Pokemon, because that's what we want to see. That's the main event. Let's go get them. All right, so let's move up here. And let's come into component did mount. We're going to make this async. And again, I'm going to be using async await here to do this, because someone in my last video on my React autocomplete wanted to know how I fetch, pretty much do this big fetch with async await. And I heard you, and here it is. So first things first, we're going to create a promises, which is going to be a equal a new array of 750 elements, and then we're going to fill all those so we can make all those undefined, and then we're going to map async vi, and then what is this going to be here? It's going to, we're going to await a fetch, which is going to be this URL right here. Let me go ahead and grab it. Perfect. There we go. Okay. Let me come here and move that. So we need this actually to be called at the beginning. Okay. Is this all good? No, is anyone complaining? Yeah, you're complaining because I forgot that. Okay. Nope, not that. There we go. Okay. So there we go. We have that in there. Okay, next up on our list is we want to actually resolve these promises, and we're going to do that by calling let resolved equals promise.all promises. Okay, there we go. So I tested this API before, and guess what? One of them was failing. One of the Pokemon was failing. So let's go take a look and see who is failing. Sometimes with hot module reload, it really screws up, and then it takes a second. And see, like, look, it's still looking at the old code. I need you to reload already. Come on. I do not need you to freak out. That was not helpful. Okay, there we go. After all that, let's take a look and see what's going on here. Okay, so we see, oh, Pokemon 657 is failing. Something about Pokemon 657 and the Pokemon API is failing. Who are you? Frogadair! God, see, I'm very generation like 1 to 4. Whatever generation this Frogadair is, I have no idea. You suck. Okay, so what we need to do now is we need to filter them out, and then we need to pretty much turn all these responses into JSON, so then we could use them. Usability. Okay. So to do that, first we need to do let resolved filter equals, and then we're going to do resolved dot filter. Oh my god, resolve dot filter. Then we're going to do res, and we're going to do res dot okay. So there's this okay, which is just a boolean, and that would be false for 657. There we go. And then after all that, what we need to do now is we need to take these all to JSON. So let data equal resolved filter promise.all. So we need a promise.all, and then we need to create our array of promises. We're going to use resolved filter dot map res.json. So res.json returns a promise. So this actually gives us a whole array of promises here. Let's add that there. Perfection. Okay, and then we're going to do this dot set state. And then we're going to come here and put in previous states. And then we are going to, we're going to come right here. We're going to do spread over previous state. And then we're also going to do Pokemon array equals, it is data. There we go. Okay, there we go. There you have it. Oh my god, where is this debugger coming from? Okay, there we go. There you have it. And oh, I forgot to even await them. Joys of live coding. There we go. Okay, now as you can see, everything is working perfectly. Okay, let's just refresh. Okay, as you can see, everything is working perfectly, and we just have 657 failing. We have all the Pokemon. Okay, now what we're going to do is we have all the Pokemon, and so we're going to filter them by type. Then we're going to merge that type into that days array that we're currently using. So that days array will basically contain an object that contains the date, the Pokemon name, and that sprite to use. Okay, so let's go in here and let's get started. Let's get cracking. Okay, so first things first, I want to come in here and set the days equal to this dot append Pokemon, and I want to pass in, What do I want to pass in here? Days. Okay, so we got here and we have the days array. So first thing I want to do is call a filter all these Pokemon filter all these Pokemon by type. So we have the days array, and we need this days array to know how many of these filter Pokemon that we need. So we're gonna come here. We're gonna do const filtered states equals this dot filter array type map, and then it's gonna be this dot state dot date dot month. Nice. All right, so let's look at what type map is real quick. Type map is just this array I have here that has all the Pokemon types. Simple, super simple. Okay, so now we're going to be calling append Pokemon. Okay, and then after this, we're going to just set the state. This dot set state. I really need a macro or something for this. Previous states, and then we're gonna do type array equal filter state. Perfect. Okay, so now that we have after that, let's go ahead and let's define filter state actually, because right now it's returning nothing. Okay, so filter array, we need to do two things here. And again, I know what you guys are gonna say, Ryan, you should have a function that only does one thing, separation of responsibilities, brah. And to you, what I would say is, don't come to me with your git merge conflicts, okay? Bruh? All right, moving on. So we're going to come here, and what we're going to do is we are going to... First, we need to filter all the Pokemon from the Pokemon array by type, and then we're going to take all those Pokemon objects and just pretty much squash that down to just the sprite and the name. So let's have some fun, and let's do that. So type Pokemon array equals this dot state dot Pokemon array dot filter. Okay, so what we're going to do here is if... no, we don't need to do that. So what we need to do here is do let types. Okay, so in this Pokemon object, and if you want to check out what the Pokemon API is returning from this Pokemon call, it's just a big object. And within the types is actually an array of objects. And that doesn't do well for us. I don't want to search through that. So we're going to basically take that array of objects, turn it into an array, and do an index of on it with the current type that's being passed into filter array. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so let types equal poke.types.map. We're going to deconstruct there, and then type.name. Okay, so there we go. I'm going to grab that, and then we're going to return types.index of, and then we're going to put in type here, and we're going to use this logical not to make that work. There we go. Perfect. Okay, so now we have all the Pokemon filtered by types, and now what we have to do after that is we need to only get the name and the sprite. So we're going to come here and do var let types equals type Pokemon array. Type Pokemon array dot map. Oh my god. Okay, so this deconstructing, check this out. It's sprite, and then it's front default, and we're going to just name that sprite. And then we got the name there. And then we're going to return, it's not even spelled return, we're going to return sprites and name. Yes, there we go. And then we're going to return. Okay, so there we go. We filter all the Pokemon, we get just the sprite and the name, and we turn them here. So now we have here, so now we need to do the last thing here is we need to take the filter Pokemon that we have, and then we need to add them to the array of the days array that we're currently using to iterate over to display our calendar days. So we're basically going to merge these objects together. Maybe in the future you should use like an array of 2 objects to make this easier, or use a different structure here, but in this case we're just going to make it simple with the name, the sprite, and the date. Okay, so we're going to come here and do let new days equal days array dot map day Okay, so if day, and then right here we're going to return day. Okay, and then here what we need to do is return day, and then it's day dot date, and then it's spreading over filtered state, and then it's at index I actually, because remember that's an array. Okay, is that good? Yep, that looks good. Okay, perfect. And then we need to come down here and actually return new days. There we go. So we're going to come down there. We're going to return new days. And we're going to come back up to our component did mount, because this again comes to the iterative portion of what we're doing here. We need a call create PokeCalendar. So this will throw ESLint errors with hooks, because you're updating more than one state here. It's not declarative. All right, so let's put in a callback function, and then after the callback function, we're going to do this dot create Pokemon calendar, this dot state dot dates. Okay. And then let's just check real quick for no errors. Oh my god, front default of undefined. Let's go check what's wrong there. Filter array, okay, looks good. Filter array. It's actually sprites. God, spelling error. Ugh, that is annoying. Alright. And we are in the clear. We are good to go. Okay, so we have all the Pokemon filtered. Now let's get them on the page. Now, okay, let's go ahead and do that here. So we could do that by coming right here. And where does this end? There it is. Okay, and then we're going to come in here. We're going to do V, which is the day. We're going to do, come in here, and then we're going to do a container to put everything in. There we go. And then what we're going to do here is, what are these class names to use? They are going to be flex container, flex center, flex column, and that's just flex direction column. And then I'm just going to copy and paste these. So basically what we're doing here is we're going to display the day, the date, and these sprites. Okay, and I hate seeing that Pokemon sprite there. So we're going to come here and we're going to do v.sprites. And so we won't see that. And boom, there we go. Okay, so now we have all the Pokemon on the screen, and now we just need to add one more functionality to this, and that's using these front and back. And currently they do nothing. And these are actually very simple to use, so we're going to do a couple things in these next month. So, oh, God. Okay, first things first, we're going to define the new month. No, not caps lock. Ugh. Define the new month. So new month equals this dot state dot date dot add 1 M. There we go. Oh no, come on, month. Okay, then we do this dot set state. Again, I should have prepared this with an easy way to type that, but hindsight is always 20/20, they say. Okay, there we go, previous state, and then we just need to come in here, and we need to take the date to the new month, and then we need to change the current type to type map new month. New month, and I think it is just month. Okay, yes. And then we need a callback here. This dot create Pokemon calendar or PokeCalendar new month. Okay, and let's just copy and paste and then change that to subtract. All right. All right, so here we go. November is ground, December, rock, January, fire, water. And let's see, previous working. Boom, perfect. So again, there are optimizations you could do with this. You probably just want to store these Pokemon objects in the database rather than making a 750 promise call every time you reload the page. But here we go. Here it is working, and it looks gorgeous. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for watching this video, and have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.